Hey YouTube, it's CFV here again. I'm bringing you an updated Great Nature build for the format. I'm really excited about this deck because we don't have to play Leopold Reverse anymore. Or at least I was excited about it until I actually played it. Great Nature's always had the problem of being a really late game focused deck. And after playing through a bunch of other different builds, I kind of found that this deck is not really my cup of tea. But I did build it and I did playtest it a lot, so I'm gonna profile it for you guys right now. It uses the new grade 3 from the Fighters collection, but basically it's the build is similar enough to Leopold Reverse that I didn't really need to make many changes. So let's get right into it. Starters Blackboard Parrot. There's really no need to play anything else. The grade 3 Searcher is kind of dead in this deck. Because it doesn't really matter if you break ride or not. It's helpful if you do break ride, but it doesn't really matter if you do. And really, it's more important to get the draws off of retiring your own cards than it is to search for grade 3s, so it's important to play this card. For triggers, we're playing 6 crits and 6 stands. I tested with this ratio a lot, and basically what I found was stands are useful for like getting those like huge rearguard columns that you hear about with Great Nature. And generally you can hit rearguards for like a lot of power. You know, you can get them pretty big. But the crits are still really relevant as well. So we just play 6 and 6 because it's a good even ratio. You don't need to play draws because you draw enough with your rearguard skills. And then 4 heals. So pretty standard trigger lineup there. For grade 1s, we're playing 4 Boiling Duckbill. When it's called, choose a rearguard, and then if that rearguard dies during the end phase, you get to draw a card. Pretty staple card. Sometimes you have to ride him, which is kind of bad, but you have a starter that does the same thing, so it's not awful if you have to ride him, basically. Just helps you with the draw power. 4 Wash Up Raccoon. Basically, he's the same thing as your grade 1 Pencil Knight, but he's a 7k booster, and what you do with him is when he dies, instead of just immediately searching for another copy of himself, he forces you to return 3 Great Natures from your drop zone that are grade 1 or higher to the deck. So, unfortunately, if you want to use this card, you have to guard with non-zeros early to make him actually useful, and then you can search for more copies of himself. This card kind of slows down the deck actually because you have to wait to use his skills, but it's a late game deck anyway, so by the time you're actually like retiring stuff like frequently, you'll already have enough of stuff in the soul that this isn't really a problem. If you want to try to push for early game, you should be playing the 4 Pencil Knights. The only problem with that is they're 6k boosters, which is kind of weak in this meta, so I prefer the 7k boost from Wash Raccoon, even if it is a late game card. 2 Stamp Sea Otter. This is basically the only other card I have that's worth playing in this deck, basically because he can't die. So if you need to retire something off like a Compass Lion, or put him behind a Tiger and then have Tiger give him a boost and he won't die, just kind of nice to have. But it wouldn't be worth it to play more than 3, or to play more than 2, because then you cut down on Raccoon and Platypus, and you want to run 4 of those because they're your main engine. And then 4 perfect cards, because those are mandatory. For grade 2s, pretty standard stuff. We're playing 4 Binoculus Tiger, just your standard grade 2 doper. And then 4 Compass Lion. You combo him up with Binoculus Tiger or with one of your main grade 3s, and then when at the end of the turn that he attacked, you have to retire something, so you can just retire anything that's going to die anyway and get pluses off that. And he's 11k, which is really nice. And the last card is 3 Lamp Camel. This is basically the same as it was from my Leopold Reverse build. This card is still really good. Like, it just applies pressure, and not enough stuff in this deck counterblasts that this isn't going to be live. So the only other card I would suggest playing is maybe Geograph Giant, which is just a 10k vanilla. But this card applies pressure, a lot more pressure than Geograph will early and mid game. Even though it is counterblast heavy, it's still really effective at putting in that pressure. So not really a huge deal. I would still play Lamp Camel, I think. Yeah, not much to say about grade 2s. And for grade 3s, we're playing for Professor Chat Noir, the Break Ride. It's a really weird Break Ride skill. It gives your rear guards the same skill as a Binoculus Tiger, except that instead of just giving them 4K and having them dying, you draw a card and then they die during the end phase, and they gain 4,000. So it's pretty good. And the last grade 3 is Trainee Sage Minette. What Minette does is when one of your Great Nature rear guards is put into the drop zone, you can choose a card from damage and unflip it. And then his other ability is Counterblast 2. Choose one of your Great Nature rear guards. That unit gains 4,000 power. During the end phase, it dies and you draw a card. Or actually, more specifically, during the end phase, you must draw a card and then retire that unit. And then this stopping skill can only be used once per turn. So basically, you have him as your main Vanguard, and then you have a Tiger and other stuff that powers up stuff, and then when they die, you unflip damage, and then you can use him and Lamp Camel to kind of generate pluses. The advantage this deck has over Leopold Reverse is that Minette's gonna let you, and Chat Noir also, are gonna let you, they're gonna force you to retire your rear guards, but they're gonna let you draw cards off of them, whereas Leopold Reverse just has them, bring them right back from the drop zone. So you can deck out potentially from this build, but it actually does kind of a bit of both offense and defense because you're going to be drawing cards, trading off rear guards, and then your Washup Raccoons are going to be able to put them all back to the deck and shuffle, and yeah, it ends up being pretty consistent. I don't know which build I really like better. They're both kind of do the same thing. The only difference is Leopold Reverse has Tank Mouse in it, to help kind of give more power to your rear guards. And I'm not playing Tank Mouse in this build. It's really inconsistent. I prefer Stamp Sea Otter. But I think I like the Minette. The Minette's got the unflipping aspect to it, which is kind of nice. So yeah, not much else to say about this deck really. It's kind of straightforward for Great Nature. I don't think this is like top face of the meta competitive. I think this is not going to do good against Link. Yeah, this deck has an awful Link Joker matchup for sure. And it's just not as consistent as like Liberators or Avengers or like Silver Thorns or any other top decks. But it is fun. It's good to use if you just want to have fun. But I wouldn't recommend it for tournament play, honestly. It's pretty good if you're looking for a Great Nature build, but I just don't think Great Nature is a very good plan in general. So that is my honest opinion. If you have any differing opinions from that, or if you have any other suggestions for the build, be sure to comment below, or if you have any questions, comment below. Like this video, thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and then please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.